All right. Uh, Hello, everyone, and welcome to our today's session. So it's a pleasure to have each of you joining us from different parts of the world. So this is Arash Aghajani. I'm a Microsoft MVP and community leader from Vancouver, Canada. So I'm going to kick off our today's session. So uh, this is our November and December calendar. And as you see here, it's the previous session canceled by the speaker. So he has some private manners and he actually wouldn't be able to run the session. So we postponed this session to the January, and we will let you know as soon as possible with when the January calendar, actually January 2025 calendar is ready. So today we have a special guest and a special speaker, Douglas Romao. He is Microsoft MVP and Tech Innovator, and he will talk about creating intelligence GPT for your organization with AI Builder. So it's a fantastic topic we have today, and hopefully you get uh, actually more valuable things from today's session, and it was useful actually for you. So let's jump to next slide and quickly introduce our Microsoft Learn community and the Microsoft Learning Room. So the Microsoft Learn community offers a variety ways for learners to connect with peers and experts to enhance their expertise and achieve career goals. It includes the Microsoft Learn Hub for updates and discussion and learning rooms for direct engagement on specific topics. So you can access the community through the following link, the aka.ms/Microsoft Learn community. And if you would like to join to our learning rooms and the several learning rooms that introduced by other people, the Microsoft MVPs and other uh, experts, so you can follow this link, aka.ms/learning rooms, to join and see the directory of the learning rooms that uh, we currently have in the Microsoft Learn community. So Power Platform Learner to Leader is one of the Microsoft Learn learning rooms, which has more than 2,000 members. We are sharing the latest information about Power Platform in our learning room and also conduct this series of session every Saturday for Power Platform enthusiasts. So if you are not a member of our tech community, join through this link. Let me put the link here, aka.ms/join PPLTL, Power Platform Learner to Leader. And the next slide, I'm going to uh, explain a little bit about the code of the conduct that we have for our every session here. Microsoft aims to empower everyone globally through knowledge sharing and events, ensuring a respectful and inclusive environment for all. Harassment or degrading behavior is not tolerated, and everyone is responsible for upholding the standards. The code of conduct encourages awareness, friendliness, respect, openness, understanding, and kindness. And before we begin, a few important notes, actually the two notes here. If you have any question during the presentation, feel free to type them in the chat box. We will have a dedicated Q&A session around 5 or 10 minutes towards at the end. This session is being recorded for those who couldn't join us live and will be available shortly in Power Platform Learner to Leader YouTube channel, because we have our audience actually from the different time zone, so it's hard and difficult for us to handle and cover all the people around the world. So actually, thank you for joining at the weekend, to this session and this or uh, series session. But if you won't be able to join, so you can check our YouTube channel to see the recorded session. And the last slide is about the Microsoft Learn Challenge. It's Ignite Edition. It's introduced by Microsoft and started, so you are able to join this challenge and level up your skills around the AI. It's 6 categories and 6 topic that cover in this AI skills challenge. So you can join and learn a lot of things around the AI through this challenge, and also get the digital badge at the end of the challenge. So okay, so I'm going to invite our speaker Douglas to the session, to the stage. Hi Douglas, how are you? You are muted, sorry. I can't hear you. Oh, it's okay. No, I can't hear you, sorry.
Now you can, right?
Oh, yeah, I can.
Yeah, I had some issues with my devices, so I had to join with my cell phone with the microphone and the screen here so you can see me.
Okay,
But
yeah.
now it's working, right?
Yeah, it works, right. Yeah, thank you
Perfect.
so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Okay, actually, is there any presentation that you want to share? If
Just share my screen right now.
Okay, awesome.
I'll share the whole screen.
Yeah,
Then if you guys need to, if there's any question or something, just you can answer up to me
sure.
at any point in time. And I'll be following the phone as well.
Okay, all good.
Good, perfect. Thank you. And thank
Okay,
you for
thank
having
you.
me. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for me to be here. And yeah, as you said, the time zones are different. I'm in Brazil right now, so I'm in a different time zone as well from you guys. But it's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to talk about these topics and to discuss some of the scenarios. Yeah, today's topic is around the same things that we have seen all around, and AI is taking our jobs. That's the first thing that everyone is talking about. Agents is everywhere, Copilot is everywhere. So how we can leverage those things. So I would like to discuss and start by saying that, of course, this is not true. We can do a lot of things, and of course, the idea here is to, at least if you guys can see some of the potential that we could use AI Builder to do stuff. I think it's that's my main purposes on this today's session. So yeah, so the idea is how we can create intelligent GPTs or intelligent apps, let's say, for your organization with AI Builder. So intelligent apps is a very common topic. It's a hot topic at Microsoft, and then a lot of tools are available for us. And then of course we need to make sure to use the right tools for the right purposes. But AI Builder is a very interesting approach for us to start working with that. Real quick, my name is Douglas Romao. I'm from Brazil, but I work for a Danish company. It's called Paloma in Denmark. It's actually an European company. I'm a senior architect and team lead there, working pretty much with the Power Platform, also with the internal Power Platform community. I'm an MVP since 2017. I was mainly in the office apps, and then I moved it to business apps, and I'm moving to AI right now. So I've been working with all those technologies for couple of years, I would say. So I have more than 16 years of experience within Microsoft stack. I have a Microsoft 365 book published. So if you wanted to see it, 365, 365 tips of Microsoft 365. And I have one more that is related to AI Builder. So in the coming months, there will be an AI Builder book, a cookbook that will be published, and I'm working on this one right now. I have a YouTube channel together with my brother Renato. He's also an MVP, and he's an MVP on the Copilot Studio area. He's a super user there, and we share this YouTube channel with a lot of training content and yeah, some things around learn. We also have a learning room, so we always are talking about business applications and intelligent apps there. We don't have a lot of content in English there yet, but we are on the way. But if you wanted to see some Portuguese stuff, you have a place there as well. And please feel free to contact with me in to add me in the LinkedIn. I'm always happy to talk and discuss about things there as well. Good. So the idea today is to talk about AI Builder, and I would like to start by putting or creating some sort of introduction about what AI Builder is, because a lot of people doesn't know the capabilities around AI Builder. And today I'm going to focus more on the prompt side, on the GPT side, because we have a lot more in AI Builder as pre-built models, but we don't necessarily need to use those. We can use these AI, the generative AI capabilities that are available for you as well for your organization to start building things. But basically, if you don't know AI Builder at all, AI Builder is the no-code tool for AI within the Power Platform or within your Microsoft 365 tenant and organization. So we have a lot of, when we are talking about AI, we have a lot of things that are happening on the Azure side, which is more infrastructure, is a little bit more technical. And then Microsoft wanted to have some sort of way for business people, for citizen developers, or even for other developers. I have a developer background, but even for us to start building things on top of a platform that I don't necessarily need to know what is happening behind the scenes, but I can use it. And this is something that makes us implement things way faster. And I say that because a lot of things that I have worked on was to create POCs and MVPs where we use those tools because they are faster to be implemented, they are faster to be deployed and everything. The cost is not that high as well. And the infrastructure to set up is not that complicated. And then, of course, after proving, after testing, after validating, getting feedback and everything, then we can, if needed, move these to a more proper, complex infrastructure if we need to. Because this, anyways, is happening on top of Azure. So everything that we are running here on AI Builder is on top of the Azure AI services anyways. It's just that we have a UI, a nice UI to create our own models or to use pre-built models that Microsoft already gave to you where we can leverage those to deliver faster. So that's the idea behind AI Builder. So when we are working with AI Builder, I like to show this AI cheat sheet because basically shows what it is possible to do with AI Builder. And a lot of things have been released in this Microsoft Ignite in the last couple of weeks. But generally, those things that I'm saying here, they are still relevant. So basically, as you can see, we have the process document part. Let me get process document, process text, process image. Those are pre-built models. As you can see here, we have some of the pre-built and custom models, looking at the legend in the bottom. But basically, AI Builder already have, and this is what started AI Builder, was to use AI Builder models, pre-built models to process documents. So in most of the cases were to maybe process an invoice or yeah, like a purchase order or something like that, that it has already a structure. And then you would like to, instead of using people to read those documents and manually place the information in systems, to already collect, extract the information and put whatever else we need to. So basically, as you can see, we have a lot of tools or pre-built models for document processing, image processing. So OCR, if we need object detection, let's say that you need to create an application that will check in our stock if we have enough uh, items in our storage or something like that. So we could embark those pre-built models within Power Apps. So if we have a Power Apps application where we use the camera, for instance, we could take a picture, around those pictures, detect objects, and then get information from there. If it is a document, we could extract that information from there. We could identify specific parts of the document. And if it is text processing, then we are talking about sentiment analysis, category classification, entity extraction. So translation, all those things, they are more on the text processing. In all those structures, and even the act on tabular data, if we have structured data within our databases, we could do prediction. So all those things, if we think about the infrastructure behind this, in general, it is something that we would need to set up an infrastructure on Azure. We would need to understand about machine learning before those, now that we have the generative AI. But if we think about the past where AI Builder was launched, because it was launched a couple of years ago. So way before this AI stuff that we are seeing right now. But at that time, creating all this setup in Azure would be a burden because we would need to understand all the infrastructure behind it. We would need to do a lot of training on our models and everything to make sure that this would be even, maybe not even possible to be used by a business person at all. So this was the past. Right now that we have all these models in place, we could use those in our applications to make sure that we could use AI in our applications. And not even that. Right now that we have generative AI, Microsoft also pushed this part into AI Builder. So we now have a way of creating our own GPTs for our organization. These pre-built models that you can see here, they are already using the generative AI GPTs, the GPT models that we have available, but we can also create our own custom prompts. And that's the beauty of it, because basically right now, instead of people using ChatGPT because they use a lot, and that's a kind of a security breach for most of the companies, because there we don't have control. The data is being used outside, and people are just copying emails, copying files, pushing there because it's easy to use and it's available for everyone and these kind of things. But instead of doing it, we could do something that they use within the organization, is around their own infrastructure, is around their own security boundaries and everything. So that's the most important part. How can we make sure that people in our organizations that are using the GPT models in an easy way, also not blocking them and also not pushing them to use tools that maybe could potentially harm our organization? So I think that that's pretty awesome to, if you ask me, because basically now the idea is that we can create a lot of tools. And the nice thing about it is that those tools, they are available for all the Power Platform stack. So if you have a Power Automate and you wanted to generate a prompt or use a prompt to generate some information, to maybe generate an email automatically, maybe classify information, maybe extract information from a document, because now it's available also to use on documents, or yeah, to process some information, query data in our database, process something, and apply actions on top of that. You can do it with AI Builder, and it's completely low code. So in this case, I just gave an example of Power Automate, but you can also do that with Power Apps. So we could have a form where when I click on a button, this follows our prompt. We'll do some processing and we'll get back to us with the response. And since this is super easy to use and available for the business, if we control and if we configure in the right way, and if we train people to use these in the right way, this becomes a very powerful tool because it's within our organization. People already have license. Most of the cases, they already have license. So we already have credits to use. It's a tool that we can use natural language to work with, which is very important because now instead of people needing to know what it is, the difference between GPT 4.0, 4.0 mini, or GPT 3.5 turbo, or how to the LLM works behind the scenes, what is a chain of discussion, and these kind of things. We don't need, the business people doesn't need to know anything about it. They just need to know, okay, what is my prompt? So the prompt is the kind of the key of it. And what are the elements that I would like to ingest in my prompt to make sure that this information is more useful? And then how to process that information afterwards. And as I mentioned, these tools are available for Power Automate, for Power Apps, and most especially, I think, I would say right now, because of all the trending, I would say, it's that those things are available also for Copilot Studio. So maybe you even haven't seen some videos about people publishing and saying that you can create your own GPTs within Copilot Studio. Actually, you are creating an AI Builder and using it in Copilot Studio. So it's an AI Builder thing. And I have this joke with my brother because he's very passionate about Copilot Studio, and he's saying that now this is part of Copilot Studio and everything. And I said we need to make sure that people are aware that everything regarding these custom prompts is actually AI Builder. So we need to give the credit to AI Builder because it's been there for quite some time. Copilot just got here. We need to make sure that we have them in the right places. So but the cool thing is that we can use both of them combined, which is very, very powerful. Good. So ideally, and basically what I would like to discuss, we will go to a demo session in a minute, and I would like to spend more time on the demo than anything else. But a very important thing about this is the prompts. I know that you guys probably have seen other sessions about AI that prompt is kind of the cornerstone of it. And that's true, especially on the AI builder part, because there you don't configure your models. So if you are used to work with AI and machine learning, you see that we can create our own models. We can use the pre-built models, but we can also create our own or create a kind of a chain of different models and combine them in a way that we want. In this case, AI Builder has two different models that can be used. So it's already pre-built. So we cannot define right now other models. So that's why the correct prompts are being good at creating a prompt will make a lot differences when you are implementing it. So I would like to recommend, and this will be part of the material that I will share afterwards with you guys. There's a link there in the documentation. It's on Learn in Docs from Microsoft, where you have these. There's a lot of things that some tips for you guys to start working with prompting, and some tips about how you should do that, how should you phrase it, and these kind of things. But in reality, it's a lot of try and error. The cool thing is that you can also try and error a lot with AI Builder without consuming credits, which is nice. I'll show you how to do it. But please give it a shot on this document, study whatever documentation you would like to make your prompts better, because these will definitely be deal breaker when creating those kind of solutions. And this is also part of the adoption when we are discussing this with organizations where they want to citizen developers and business people to start building their own, and not only those, but maybe a consultant that is not technical for them to build solutions. And this is something that we discuss a lot with them. You need to make sure that people are trained to write the right thing. So they don't need to write code anymore. That's fine, but they need to know what to ask. If they don't do it in a proper way, the results will be bad. And basically the blame will come to the tool afterwards. So we need to make sure that we have a proper solution in place. Good. Yeah, I'll come to the free content available afterwards. I'll just move my screen from the PowerPoint presentation, and I would like to show you guys some stuff. So I would like to start by going to the Microsoft, the make.powerapps.com. You can also go to make.powerautomate.com to use it. And then if you go there, you see that in the left side, you'll see something called AI Hub, as you can see here. And if you don't see it, you can click more and then the AI Hub will be there. Everything AI Builder related will be in this left navigation menu. And here you can see all the AI models that are already there and also the prompts. The most important part for us right now is the prompts, as I said, and I would encourage you to go to AI models to see what it is already there, because there's a lot of things that sometimes we go to IT or ourselves as developers, we just go to code at first, but we already have a lot of pre-built models here with a lot of things in place. We just need to use. And for us to do a POC, an MVP for a customer is so easy, so easy. So I would definitely encourage you to go there and at least try out. But if you go to prompts, you see I have a list of some prompts that I created, and this is the one that we will use. But you can see that also there are some templates. So I'll just open up one of the templates here. And as you can see, the setup for creating your own GPT or your own prompts to be available for other applications is to pretty much write things in natural language. So we have on the top your prompt, in the bottom the response if you want to try it out. Uh, One of the good aspects when creating your prompts here is that we can not only write things, but we can also include things. And that's important for us to build a nice prompt and a prompt that is enhanced with other stuff. In this case, what I'm enhancing here is an input. So in this case, this is a pre-built model where it's asking for to summarize a text in a way that is easy to understand for a general audience and yada yada. Pretty much remove any repetitive elements. So pretty much instructions of what I'm expecting. But the nice stuff is that I have an input here. So I'm creating an input of text. I can give it a name for this. So test text that I am expecting. I can put some sample data if I wanted to try it out. And you can enhance your prompt with those information. And why is that important? Because now we are creating variables, going to a more technical language now here. We are creating variables that will be used by our prompt. So we are ingesting data within our prompt while it is being executed, which is pretty nice. So in that case, I'm creating two variables here and I'm using it as part of the text. So I could do different like that. I would like to please give the summary in the following language. And then instead of doing something like this, I could maybe do something a little bit different. And I would call language. And then now I'm expecting a text, but also a language here. So I could take a text. Let me get the text from the documentation. And we could even try that out within here. So I can just put in the sample data, whatever I put it in here. And I would like this to be in Portuguese. Sometimes the language fails because of the security, but this is something that Microsoft is working to make it better. But let's try that out. In this case, what will happen when I click test prompt? It will take this sample data here, this text in here. It will ingest in the variable. It will take the language and ingest in the language. And then it should try to give me a response. This is the place. It's kind of a playground for you. And as I mentioned to you, we could try that out without consuming any AI credits. In this case, you probably won't see what is happening here, but if you do speak Portuguese, you'll find out what it is saying. But in this case, it just summarized, giving me a translation in Portuguese, saying this article explained the concept of prompt engineering as key elements to create powerful capacity AI, generative AI that can be used to Power Platform. So in this case, it translated to Portuguese. So I could even ask, I could write this in a different way. I could say, please give the summary divided into two pieces, translating it into the following languages. And then I could put something else. Would that work? I don't know. I'm doing a live demo for you, but we can try that out because it's a prompt thing. So summary in English, summary in Portuguese, summary in Spanish. And it works pretty well. And let's say that I don't want to have this as a text because I would like this to be used in an application. So I could even enhance this saying, I would like the results to be given in a JSON format following this structure. And then I could put the language, and summary. Let's see how it will behave. So in that case, I'm asking this to be a JSON. So it just gave me a JSON with results, language, and the summary. And then I don't want this to come because I don't want it to treat these in my Power Automate or my Power Apps. Make sure to return only the JSON data without anything else. For example, and then we could try out again. Nice. Now I have language and summary, and that's it. It's a an object, but then instead of an object, I would like this to be given in a JSON format following the form structure, considering an array with one item per language, and so forth. So we could keep doing this forever, pretty much. So language, an array with one object, two objects. And that's the beauty, because then we can now just work with something. We just tested with the data from here. Once this is ready, I can just save this prompt. So I could say summarize text and translate to different languages. I could save it, and this would be now available for me to use in Power Automate, Power Apps, and Copilot Studio. So let's say that now I would like, and this is the example that I will use for our demo. I would like to have, whenever I receive an email, I trigger a flow, I trigger a Copilot Studio agent, and this will classify my email, or it will read my email, take some information out of it, translate it to me, and send it to me in an application or in a message in Teams or whatever. This is just one example. There is a kind of a world of things, of possibilities with that, if you think. And I have no idea what is happening behind the scenes. I actually do. But if I give this to my father doesn't work with IT at all. And I say to him, you need to just write what you want and try that out until you get your results. He will be able to do something, even without any experience with that. He doesn't even know Power Apps, Power Automate, nothing. I just need a nice text, a nice prompt. Of course, it's not that easy. It's something that we need to work a lot to make sure that the results are good enough, but it is something that is very achievable. Another nice thing that I would like to share with you. You see that here we have inputs, and the inputs is a text, and they just released, I think a week ago. The Ignite was last week or the week after, the week before. They released this thing, which is image or document. Now we can even upload the document and place a document in here, which is amazing. So imagine that you have received an email with an attachment, and then you take the attachment from the using Power Automate, and you pass that file, that attachment file, through your prompt, and then you can use that prompt to read that information, to try to process that information, and to run instructions against that information that is being placed in that document, and then ask these kind of results. So this is pretty amazing. I said to the AI Builder team that I'm very happy with this release from them, and it's pretty new, so that's why it's on preview here. Another thing that is important for me to share with you, we have the data used as preview as well here, and the data preview that you can see here is something that it's coming to GA soon as well, but right now it's here in preview, where you can even ingest data from Dataverse to your prompt. So let's say that you wanted to process an email based on an information that comes from the accounts or the tickets that department already created, or whatever information you already have in your database tables, it is available in here. So let's say that I select accounts. You see that I could apply a filter. So search for account name, and I can add a value that is on the variable. So I can even include some of these things. And then I can even add this information now that I have added in here. I can get some information from the account. So let's say that after I pass that information to Dataverse and it found, I would like to get the account number as a result. So this is a way for us to go to Dataverse, search through Dataverse, and ingest data from Dataverse into our prompt. So in this case, I'm combining things from information that is coming from whatever place is asking the AI builder plus Dataverse to combine and create something very powerful. So imagine the crazy stuff that we can do with that. And this is Dataverse table. So let's say that you have a virtual table that was created connecting your Dataverse with SQL or SharePoint or something like that. Or yeah, now you have Salesforce and other places. You could have a virtual table and consume information from your virtual table, which is probably another application externally from Power Platform, and embed prompts, embed that information into your prompts. So that is pretty awesome what we can do here. Another thing, the output. The output standard is text. Now they just released, this is one GA, I think, in the last couple of weeks, where we define the JSON. In this case, we are asking for a JSON structure. If you don't ask, but you select JSON in here, it will try to convert to a JSON. And then you can even feed with the structure that you are expecting, and this will try to translate into that type. So this is pretty amazing as well, because then if we make sure that every time we generate a JSON, this JSON can be processed afterwards by your Power Automate, because then we can just get the results, transform that JSON into something useful for us in the application. So imagine that we wanted to extract information from an email. We receive an email, we receive a body, and we would like to extract information from that body, saying maybe what the customer is asking for. The customer is asking for a meeting and when this meeting will happen and these kind of things. So this is a nice way for us to start processing our information in a good and structured way so we can use afterwards. And the nice thing about these prompts is that we can create a lot of them and just use them and make them very special into something. So let's say that I have one a prompt that is responsible for gathering the email and extracting information from there. I have another prompt that is responsible for classifying that information. I have another prompt that is responsible for translating that information. And then we can create a chain in Power Automate, in Copilot Studio, or whatever else you wanted to make sure that that information will be used in the right places, in the correct order. So we can do very specialized GPTs for us and make sure that business people just use it in their own applications or their own solutions. That's, I think, it's a game changer, because if we start creating this, and Microsoft just released they announced it. It's not available yet, but they announced it in the Ignite that they are creating the prompts library, which means that at some point we will be able to create those prompts, put into a library, and make sure that people in our organization they are able to use. Right now, they are if they are in the same environment, but it's a super nice way for us to kind of start creating a structure where we build those prompts, and maybe we'll have people that are very specialized in creating the prompts, and we make them to be available for end users, for business people to just consume in their own applications. So that's the concept of intelligent apps, is to make sure that our applications, they are embedded or ingested with AI that we are ourselves creating. And we, I mean, IT guys, business people, prompt engineers, or whatever you want to call them. Good. So one other thing that I haven't showed here is that we have some settings, and the settings is the important part. Here is the model that I mentioned to you. Before we had GPT 3.5 and 4, and then Microsoft moved the models to use the 4.0 mini and the 4.0. This is it is cheaper, so we will consume less credits than before, and it's better. There are better models than the ones before, so that's why Microsoft changed it. That's the part that I mentioned to you guys, that if you don't know Azure AI or Azure AI Foundry, the new name, if you don't know how to create models there, which models are available there, how to deploy a model, or these kind of things, that doesn't really matter. You just need to know that for you on AI Builder, you can use these two models. Very important thing. A lot of people ask about that. But what is the difference between using this and using ChatGPT? In this case, this GPT 4.0 mini and 4.0, it's under your tenant. It's under your Azure. under your organization. So the data is not being placed elsewhere outside. So when someone goes there and copies an email and go to ChatGPT or OpenAI ChatGPT and then paste there and asks to summarize, asks to do an activity plan or whatever, that information it's being shared with others. In here, if you made the same tool kind of, and then you place these into a Copilot, and then they could place their emails into your Copilot Studio to ask to generate tests or whatever. This is under your organization, so nothing is going outside, which is very important for the security on the security aspects, because then we are making sure that everything, the emails, the data that is being translated and exchanged in here, it is not being pushed outside. So very important thing. And then the models here is important just to see the precision and how many credits will be used and these kind of things. So it's important to see how the model selection works. And yeah, just to make sure that you have the proper configuration and make sure that you are using the correct way. Another thing, the temperature that you can configure here. So lower the temperature for predictable results and higher the temperature for more diverse and creative responses. This is very important for you to kind of configure in the way that you want your prompts. Very important thing. When you are using AI Builder, you see that the recommendation from Microsoft is not to just use it without supervision. So please make sure that when you are creating those crazy nice stuff that you are seeing here, that someone is validating. And I can give you an example. We were in a lot of discussions with some customers where they would like some some of these manual jobs that people are reading emails and taking actions upon that and asking for more information to be completely automatized. And we are very against that right now because, first of all, if the customer doesn't have a proper process right now, this can be a huge issue. And the second thing is that because we need to analyze what AI is generating. If AI is just generating automatically and sending emails automatically and these kind of things, we have a potential security flaw here. We can have a lot of things that can happen, hallucinations and all those things. And maybe the customer experience won't be good just because we wanted to automatize the whole thing. So ideally, what we should do and what would be my recommendation and the recommendation that we have been talking a lot with customers right now is that we use those things to empower the person who is working. So instead of the person being their job is to read emails and get the information and place into an application, we made them more intelligent. So we made them do something more concrete, like reviewing whatever the AI classified and saying, okay, this is not correct, this is correct. And then we can maybe be more productive in that sense, because instead of having 10 people to read 1,000 emails per day, we now have 10 people classifying, analyzing, converting to leads, and doing some more meaningful work and making the AI to do the manual work. Make sense? So please be aware of that and make sure to use in the proper way. So this is the way that you can create your prompts. I have a specific prompt that I would like to show you in the couple of minutes that we have left. So I have this prompt that I created. So the idea here is this example would be that I'm saying, and just to be very clear with you guys, I'm not a prompt engineering. So I'm still trying as you guys will. So yeah, I'm also playing. Probably it's not the best one, but I've been playing quite a lot, and now I know some of the tricks. But yeah, it's something that we need to practice a lot. But here's just a prompt where I would like to receive an email, and whenever this email is received, I would like to take the body. I would provide this body to the prompts, and I would like this AI assistant to classify that information for me. And this classification could be like the first filter for us to define what that email should be. Should be something, it is a spam, it is something that it's not, maybe not relevant for us. It is something that maybe a trainee could handle, or maybe something with someone with experience should handle. So those things, instead of just pointing a person to read those emails, we would like to do this with an assistant. So the assistant would receive would classify this email into requests, meeting, support, or sales. And then based on that classification, maybe we can even send a message to Teams to that person to do something about it, or create an incident in our instance system, or creating a calendar invitation or something like that. I'm asking this to be a JSON file because I would like to do something with that in a Power Automate flow. And I'm asking to extract emails, dates, people names. I'm giving some examples. And those examples, that's the good part about having this possibility of injecting or ingesting data into your prompt. Because let's say that those types here, instead of having it in writing here in the prompt, I would like to create a configuration table. And from that configuration table, I'll feed that information in here. Those things you can start thinking of. So your prompt can even be dynamic and generic to be used in a lot of different scenarios, which is amazing. And in this case, I'm creating a structure. I'm asking to create a structure in JSON and to not include the JSON. And here's the body. So if I try that out, I have an email here. I need to have a meeting with Douglas next week to discuss new projects. So if I try that out, this will try to classify. And as I mentioned to you here, I'm not giving any context. So as you can see, I'm not giving any context of the emails that maybe Douglas already sent, or whoever that customer already sent. So we can try to use some contextualizing information to do something else. We can do that. I'm just not doing because this is a simpler example. And in this case, it classified the email with the meeting and extracted some information. The date is next week. The person name is Douglas. So I'm asking to talk to Douglas, and I'm asking to be in the next week. One cool thing that I did for one of these customers is that we are application people, we are coding people, or sometimes, and in most of the cases, next week doesn't mean anything for us. It doesn't mean anything for a system. If we need to save this information in a Dataverse table, trying to put that out, it won't do anything. So what if we would like to even do something about this next week? This is something that usually I do in a specific prompt to translate those things, but I'll try that out here just so you see. So I'll put, if you find any dates information, try to convert it into system date formats, such as consider the current date as the date for calculating when you get, for example, next month or next Tuesday. Let's try that out. So what I'm saying here is that if you try to find a date, so in this case, it didn't work pretty well. It just formatted this the date 10 to 10, but it's because I'm not saying which is the current date. Current date provided here. So let's do something like this, and then I'll see the days. And this information we could give from the Power Automate flow. So let's try if that will work. Yeah, it's a live demo, so of course it didn't work, or it worked. It worked. 7th of December. Let's say I am saying next Tuesday or what? Next week. So let's say next Thursday to see. Next Monday. Probably we have a better way of writing this down, but let's see. Yeah. Next Monday is 2 of December, so 2nd of December. So it's just the format here that is month, day, and year, but you know what I mean. In this case, I'm not saying what day is, but I'm converting it. So you can even do those intelligent things. Because for us as application guys, we are creating something that needs to be meaningful, and we don't want to convert this manually because it will be a burden for us to do. So why not making AI to do those things? So all those kind of little things that can help quite a lot for us working is something that we can do here. So nice. I'll just save this custom prompt. And then the example that I would like to show you guys is that in here I have a copilot, and this copilot is connected to, it has a trigger. So it is an autonomous agent. It is something that was released pretty, I think, in the last couple of weeks, where you can have triggers, and these triggers is in this case when an email is received, is arrives in my mailbox, it will trigger the flow. And then I have an action here. This action is a Power Automate flow that is capturing information and sending to AI Builder, processing, getting the result, and getting back the information to Copilot. So it's just something that I'm asking for an input, and this is the email body. And then the output will be the result with the classification. In this case, I'm just giving the classification as a text. I'll show you in a minute how this format works. But I just would like to, let me just send the email so we can see it. I'll just copy this to make it faster for us. Create a new email, meeting request with the community. I'll send you my email. I would like to have a meeting next Friday to discuss the amazing stuff that we can do with AI Builder. Nice. I'll just send it. At some point, this will trigger my autonomous workflow, but while it takes some time to trigger, while I'm doing that, I will just show the Power Automate flow so you can see it. This one is a pretty simple one, but we can do very complex ones. In this case, it's just an action in my Copilot Studio that is receiving the information, the body from the Copilot. It is passing to our AI Builder prompts. So in this case, I even need to do something here because I wasn't expecting dates before, but now I am. So I'll just say etc now, and I can save and publish. So basically what I'm doing is I'm getting the current date and the body of the email that is being received from the Copilot, asking the Copilot to do something, and then it will extract this and the response I'm doing in a JSON file. And basically the JSON file, I'm responding with, hey, we just got a new request email, and based on my knowledge, this is and the classification. This is just a simple example, but we could do way more. We could get this information and then save the information into a Dataverse table or do processing or call another flow to do something else. So you can do whatever you want, right? So let's see if now my trigger has been. So yeah, I have an execution from now. Let's start testing and see if it works. So the idea here is that the trigger would be the body of the email that we received. So here you can see the body of the email. This will trigger our activity map. It will try to find out if there is any action, and it found the process email with the email. It didn't work. Process email. Yeah, something with the flow. Let me see if it was saved. Or if it failed. Yeah, it was because it failed. In this case, I haven't put any fallback. So let me see why it failed. Invalid reference input. Let's see if it is probably because of the dates that I'm testing here. So just try to do something else. And if it doesn't work, I'll just do manually a manual date. I'll just do a manual date anyways to make it easier for us. So it's 2024. Save and publish. And I'm almost finishing. As I mentioned to you, this warning that Microsoft gave to you, don't do anything. There is no content approval, so please do something about it and these kind of things. So it's Microsoft telling us, please make sure that when you are doing it, someone is revising it. And let's try that out again. So this example is an autonomous agent being triggered, but we could do something like when an email is received, then a Power Automate flow is triggered and do something about it. This is can also be something that we can do. And we can process these things whenever we want. Basically, that action we can use anywhere. So we try to find out. It's passing the body here now. Let's see if it will work because it passed the whole body. Yeah. So it works. So basically, you can see the activity map here is how my Copilot Studio works. In that sense, it triggered the email, and then in the end, it processed it and sent me an email saying, "Hey," or a message in this case. We just got a new request email, and based on my knowledge, this is a meeting. So this is the classification. And if we go to our flow right now, I can just go back to see the execution. We will see that the data has been passed, and then a JSON structure has been provided. And here's the classification and also the extracted data dates. So I asked it for next Friday. So next Friday, 6th of December. Who is the person, the date, and everything. So I could do something since it's a JSON. Now I could trigger something else. I could ask for an action from Copilot to do something. So sky is the limit. Even if the sky is the limit, we can do a lot of stuff. I know that I'm very passionate about, so I'm biased, but you can do quite a lot with that. So I would like to encourage you guys to do something about it and study these more. And then to end up, because I'm almost with the in time, I have some free content available, as I mentioned to you in my YouTube channel. I have a whole session, these two or three session, entire courses based on Microsoft Learn. So I'm kind of studying Microsoft Learn together with you on AI Builder. And my brother Renato, he has on Copilot Studio the same thing. We try to do live sessions every Monday about those things. So if you need to do something or if you wanted to do something, please go there. The English version of these courses are being translated right now. So we have a lot of them already, but we'll have a complete set soon. But let me know if you wanted to add me on LinkedIn or anything. Just ping me. We can talk about, and for sure in the future, I'll reach out to you guys to share more content around those things. So yeah,
Thank you. It was amazing. So thank you so much. An interesting topic. So I learned a lot of things today from you, and it was great. So I'm not seeing any question here from our attendees. If you have any question, please put in the chat. So we will ask from Douglas. And it was a question in my mind. Actually, you answered that question. So how we can use this prompt in the Power Apps and the Power Automate. So finally, I saw that you implemented the Copilot Studio and used that prompt in the Power Automate. Yeah, so it was great. Thank you. And another things is might be or attendees concern actually is about the licensing. How is the
hmm
license price? How we can use this. So as I'm seeing here in my test tenant, it's the AI builder required it's show me that your AI builder free trial has expired, so it's required to be extended.
hmm
So I'm not sure that can I use the free version and and if I purchase and get the premium license, is this another it's extra feature or additional feature that I can use in the AI builder? What's the differences here? Can you please a little bit explain?
yeah. So the AI Builder works with credits, and those credits are given either in two ways. You have a Power Apps or Power Automate premium license. This gives license to your organization, and IT pretty much can define where these credits will go. So which environments and who have access to those.
Mm-hmm.
And another way is to buying capacity as you buy a capacity for Dataverse. So you can buy
Mm-hmm.
capacity for which is these credits. Right now, to be honest, to be completely honest with you guys, the most difficult part is to find out how many credits you will spend depending on the things that you do. I have done a prompt that generates a kind of a calculator for you. It is on the community. There is a community on the Microsoft that you can find some prompts for people from the community. So it's the PNP prompts. It is for AI Builder from some other places. And you can try out that thing. In the documentation for Microsoft, they are changing a little bit to make it more clear for us how much it will spend.
Mhm.
And there will be a section in the admin center that you can follow to see how much is being spent and where and who and these kind of
Mhm.
things. But right now, it's just Microsoft wants people to try out. So these extensions, most likely, you can just push the button, or IT can push this button, and you can keep playing with that. And then another thing that I say to people if they wanted to play around is to also they can create the developer environments, the Power Platform developer environments,
Mhm.
where they can use from there because it's a premium license, so there will be credits there. And then of course, if you use this the prompts from the test,
Right.
the playground, it doesn't count on the credits, so there you can try
Mhm.
out as much as you want. So the things that I do right now, it's I try that out a lot. Once I'm happy with that, then I implement for real.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. So there is a question here from Jay. What's your YouTube channel, Douglas? So can you
Yeah, let me post the
put
link.
it in the chat, your YouTube channel URL?
Yes. Yes, here. Just a second. Comments. Here.
Okay, thank you. So this is the URL, youtube.com/at Ramos official, right?
Yes. And it's
Okay,
official, just one app because it's in Portuguese. The Portuguese doesn't have two apps.
that's good. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. So hopefully to see you next week with another session and another special speaker that we have. So thank you, Douglas, and
Thanks
hopefully
so
to see you
much.
in the future in the upcoming actually sessions. And
For
thank you
sure.
so much. Yeah,
Thank you so much. Have a nice
thank you.
weekend.
Have a great weekend,
Bye
everyone,
bye.
and bye.